Hi guys, welcome to Cooking with Angie. Alright guys, we've been away for a little bit, but you know, summer was here. We were on vacation with the kids. They're now back to school. So now it's time to get back to Cooking with Angie. Stay tuned. Today we will be doing spaghetti squash, but not just regular spaghetti squash. We're going to be making it in form of lasagna. Yes, you heard that right. Lasagna. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so many people have reached out to me saying, you know, if I also do recipes for keto-friendly, diabetic, and yes, spaghetti squash is always amazing. If you crave pasta and you're not supposed to have pasta, spaghetti squash is the way to go. So we've already washed the exterior. This, you are going to slice it from lengthwise, so from top to bottom, right in the middle. There we go. Now that it is open, you see the seeds here. We are going to remove those seeds and trash it, or some of you may do like pumpkin seeds and put them in the oven. Okay, so we are going to just scoop these seeds right out. You make a mess, don't worry about it. You clean it after. Or if you're like me, you clean it during. All right, now that the seeds are out of this, see, it'll nice and empty. Now that it's nice and empty, we are going to place it in a baking dish. You can use an aluminum tray, a cookie sheet, whatever it is that you feel comfortable using. Remember, your kitchen, your rules. All set. We are going to take 1 tablespoon. You can use olive oil. I have avocado oil. That's the one that I'm going to be utilizing today. And you are going to spread it right over the top of the squash. You're also going to add 1 teaspoon of salt that you will sprinkle to give it some seasoning. You're just going to rub it in there on the top and the inside. And now you are going to grab the salt and just sprinkle. You don't have to use the whole thing. Measure by sight. Us Hispanics are famous for measuring by sight. Or like they say into our ancestors say, mija, ya. There we go. See? I would say I used about half a teaspoon. Not bad. Okay. Now our oven has been preheating at 350. We are going to drop this in uncovered, just like this, facing up. So the open side up. And we're going to put it in the oven for 45 to 50 minutes. All right, stay tuned. I'm going to be prepping the meat while that cooks. Okay, guys. Now, remember, you can choose to make this with whatever meat you like. We are going to be using ground turkey because we are trying to stay away from red meat for a little bit. Little by little. So, to this ground turkey, you are going to be adding about 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of adobo, 2 tablespoons of sofrito. Now, if you're Hispanic, you know what sofrito is. Some of you know sofrito. And then 1 teaspoon of garlic, which I have it mixed in there, because why 30 more dishes, right? And now we are going to add 1 packet of sazon. We're going to mix that all in together. Now this, remember, you can add onions, peppers, whatever you want to season it. That's your choice, your kitchen. I usually add it, but since my 2 youngest boys are picky about their, onions and peppers being cooked in here, I'm not adding it. But I usually do add it, and I dice it nice and small so they don't even mix. So you're going to give this a big mix. I cook it on medium to high heat and let it brown. So stay tuned. Now that I've given this a good mix to get all the seasoning incorporated, we are going to just let it cook on medium-high heat for a little bit and let it do its thing. And of course, using my nice little spoon holder from Alaska. If you've seen my other videos, you know Alaska's beautiful. If you haven't been, definitely go. All right, we're gonna cover that up and come check on it in a little bit. All right, now that we've done all of that, I put it on a little bit lower. I would say low, medium, depending on your stove also. And now we're gonna give it a little bit more time to finalize cooking. All right, guys, if you can hear, my oven is singing like, hello, we're ready, we're done. So we are going to turn that off. And we are going to take out our squash. All right, guys, we've taken out the squash. You see how that looks? Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, nice color. See that? Now, we're gonna allow that to cool for a couple minutes. Not a lot, but about 5 minutes. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna scrape it with a fork. Scrape it right out. It's gonna look like spaghetti, which exactly what I'm making here. If you choose, you wanna make it just as spaghetti style, you would do it with the ground meat that you're going to utilize. Scrape this up, add your sauce, and voila, you have spaghetti squash. Okay, while the squash is cooling, we check on our meat, which is all set and done. Looks good, smells good. Let me give you a closer look. All right, this is what our ground turkey looks like. Okay, I have shut off my ground turkey. I am going to let it sit off of the heat for a little because I like to utilize it when it's not so hot. That way I can easily prep the lasagna, spaghetti squash lasagna. Okay, so now I'm going to just grab a regular fork and I am going to grab the squash and just scrape like this. You see that? Comes out just like spaghetti. Look at that, close up. See? Yummy. And you get a really good amount of squash out of these things, let me tell you, because I've even done a style of like mac and cheese, but obviously with the squash. Whenever we're craving the mac and cheese, I make my sauce, make it with this. Delicious, absolutely delicious. Now that I have scraped this one fully, see that? Yummy. So I am going to remove this. Sometimes one is enough for what you need to do for the recipe, as far as like 1/2. Depends what you're going to make. So you see what I'm saying? I had taken some out and it's already the whole base of it down here. See? The whole base. And I can probably remove some, but you see there's still some left in here. Goes a long way. So you are going to smush this down here, not literally smush, but flatten it. I'm going to remove some because it's still plenty. And again, to your liking, if you like a thicker layer, then you go ahead and put that thicker layer. All right, now that I have flattened everything on here, we are going to get the ground turkey. All right, so now we have our ground turkey. After we do our first layer of squash, we are going to go ahead and add a layer of the ground turkey. Remember, I strain it as I'm pouring, so to get any of that extra, but turkey is a little bit on the drier side, so I like to leave a little bit. We're gonna flatten that on there to make a nice layer. If you like to have a lot of meat, you can go ahead and double up on your meat portion, or you can just do a simple layer of the ground turkey. All right, there you have it, the layer of the ground turkey. We smashed it down so it's nice and flat. Now we are going to move on to add cream cheese. Yes, I like to add cream cheese. We like cream cheese. Okay, now the cream cheese, you can do it as you like. You can do slices. You can cube it. Toss it right on there. And this is for my family. So no, I'm not using gloves. I'm using my hands. And 9 times out of 10, when you go to a restaurant, the cooks don't use gloves. Newsflash, they don't use gloves. Look it up. The gloves are not healthy while preparing certain foods. So, yeah. Your kitchen, your rules. Do what you please. Alright, we've added the cream cheese like so. Yes. Alright, now you can go ahead and add some shredded cheese. You can add whatever cheese you want. You can put pepper jack, whatever cheese you like. If you like a little bit of spice to it, you can add it. I just add a little bit here. And then we are going to do the top layer of the squash. See how this 1/2 part was just enough for pretty much, if it would have been a smaller lasagna, it would have been perfect. But see, nice and empty. Guys, I have done the top layer here. See how it looks? Nice. And you see, there's still some in here. So I'm pretty sure I'll be making something extra for my husband. Maybe a mac and cheese that he loves. All right. Now that that's all done, I am going to add, you can use whatever spaghetti sauce you like. You can make it homemade. I like homemade, but you know, school's in session. Gotta do quick things. I'm using some roasted and garlic sauce. Roasted garlic and herb to give it a little bit of flavor. So I am going to add just a little right on the top. Spread it out. I'd probably say about 2 tablespoons, or you can add whatever it is you like. Oh wow, you can really smell the roasted garlic on here. All right, you see how that is right there? Perfect. Now I'm going to top it with cheese. Add whatever amount of cheese you like, whatever kind of cheese you like. Your choice, your kitchen. And voila, topped with cheese. Now I'm just going to sprinkle it with a little bit of Italian seasoning. Just a little, not a lot. To give it a little something extra. There we go. There you have it. Here is your spaghetti squash lasagna. So this, you are going to put it in the oven at 350, and you are going to cook it from anywhere to 20 to 30 minutes depending on your stove, okay? You can choose to cover it so the cheese doesn't burn that fast, or you can leave it open. I leave it open. It gets gooey. It's good. Remember, all the ingredients are already cooked. It's just a matter of warming it in the oven and giving it that toast. So stay tuned and enjoy. I'll show you the results of the finished product. Right, guys, here you have it. This is the final product. You see it's still bubbling. Delicious. All right, guys, so you see this. We are going to slice. Oh, look at that. All right, guys, there you have it. You can see how that looks here. There goes our piece here. And you already know the taste test. Nice and hot. Absolutely delicious. Look at the cream cheese.